Hello and welcome to Artists Soar. This is a podcast for artists by 3 artists. We discuss all aspects of being artists, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The goal of each podcast is to provide solutions so artists can focus on their creativity and soar above. I'm Rachel Harshenko.
Jules McCullough.
Stephanie Weaver.
Well, hello, everybody. We are back. And in this podcast, we're going to be talking about asking for advice, and specifically, who do we ask advice from? So, but before we get into that, what's everybody doing?
So I'm working on going back to some of my previous work and adding making improvements, I guess is the way I'll put it, and hand lettering some stuff instead of just using fonts that I've altered or changed or just used straight up, and changing some colorways and kind of making things a little bit better.
And I've told you this before, but your hand lettering is like, you can't even tell it's hand lettering.
I know. And everyone keeps telling me I need to get over that and not be so anal retentive about my lettering.
No.
Yeah, I think you even got a comment one time like, "Oh, you should really make up your own lettering." And you're like, "I did. This is one."
Yeah. Like, that is my lettering.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not too perfect.
I use a ruler and a straight edge. What do you expect?
So what are you doing?
I had a glow moment. So one of the things I just got approved, and I'm starting to walk the path of opening up Huntsville Art Supplies.
I'm so excited.
I'm really excited about that.
So it's not only going to be art supplies, but it's going to be a place for artists to have workshops and classes, and not just my classes, but I want to bring others. And one of the things that's been on my heart for the last 2 or 3 days is like calligraphy and writing, and that was those little light bulbs.
Oh,
You're my teacher.
I've never taught
that and Photoshop and something.
I know it's just like all kind of coming together, and so
you're gonna open up your studio for that.
Yeah, the studio,
and it'll be in the studio. Your art supplies.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I've already designed the little logo, and it's going to be Huntsville Art Supplies, the happy place.
I love it.
I do too. I like that.
Yep.
So we actually get the feel, and it's going to have quality art supplies, not like what you get in the big box stores, but like Sennelier, Fabriano.
Fabiano paper. Yeah. Oh my God.
Really nice.
And just the name. I know.
Yeah.
The Fabian.
You just fall into it. I'll take $1 million worth.
Emgram, ampersand, all the, and Princeton brushes. I've asked to get some samples of some different types of brushes because
nice.
When we go to the art stores, we want the feel.
Yes.
Everything.
Yeah.
Very.
Do you
yeah.
have the Amazon?
No. And for anyone in the Huntsville area, like, we don't have a good art supply store.
Don't.
And now
Not independent.
No.
Independent art studio that is owned by an artist.
Well, I mean, we don't even have like a Dick Blick or a Jerry's Autorama, we've got to go 2 hours for that. And
Hobby Lobby,
which is all their own brand now. And Michael's is a crapshoot if you get anything there now or not. Yeah. And so, I have to order everything.
So I'm going to really kind of cater to the area here and give discounts to low mill artists, art teachers, art students, because, as an artist, we all know that it's just really expensive. And
yes,
I've seen the markup, and it's something, because I'm low overhead. I have a small studio. It's just me and my mom, really. I get to keep it good prices. So, but one of the things I'm also going to start with that is a Kickstarter, because even though it's low overhead, it's expensive.
It's very expensive, yeah.
And,
well, because you have to buy minimums from these wholesalers and stuff,
right?
So.
Yeah, exactly.
5,000 minimum.
Yeah, and you've got product displays to purchase, and there's all that back end stuff that people don't realize that you've got to do.
Yeah, so I'm going to be starting a Kickstarter, and I would love for everybody to participate. I'm going to have them as low as $20, and you can be part of something really big that's going to be part of Huntsville.
Are you doing that pretty soon, quickly.
Yeah.
Next week or so.
So the Kickstarter, my goal is to have that up by 4/21 and run it for a month, and then have the store soft launch by 6/1.
Okay.
That's my goal.
That's good. That's good.
So,
So everybody check out Kickstarter and look for Stephanie
yeah,
Weaver's name.
yeah, it'll be Huntsville Art Supplies, Stephanie Weaver. And I'm sure when this thing comes out, I'll have a Kickstarter link. So click on that and please help out where you can.
That's exciting.
I know.
I'm so excited.
I know.
Wow. I'll do the golf flag.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It's like it started out small. I just wanted to be able to provide something for my students, and then it just kind of grew. And the backing of Low Mill to is really just like solidified that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's needed. I think it's needed here.
It is much.
I'm almost thinking. I'm not going to say what I'm thinking. So anyway.
Tell me offline.
Yeah.
Is this a manifesting thing that we can talk about later? Yeah.
I already have it pictured in my head where it's going to be by the end of the year. So.
Ooh. See, she's our manifesting queen, which is another thing we want to talk about. Okay. So that's what I got going on, and it's all consuming for the next month.
So what about you? What do you got
I'm
going?
just still working on, bar drinks and cocktails and things like that. I want you to write it.
Oh,
Oh, you might need a piece of paper, otherwise they're going to hear you right.
No, it'll be all right.
Oh, okay. Okay. So what are we talking about?
We're talking about where you get your advice from, or who do you ask about things, different things. Like, I'm sure, so for your artwork, do you ask the same people, different people, business-wise? Do you ask certain other people, financial? Like, what do you prioritize who you ask advice from? Is it specific for a certain area? Like,
So yes, on who I ask. So if I want advice on like the actual art and what it looks like, I usually have an initial idea, and then I like to show you guys, like you guys and the people in my paint class. I'll show. Yes, I agree. That's already on my list. So she. Okay, what you're not understanding behind the scenes, we asked Julie to write down like basically what she was thinking, and what I haven't told everybody is that I have an Excel spreadsheet.
of course you do. Of course I'm gonna. I don't expect anything less from you two.
why would you not?
I gotta throw all those ideas in one spot so that I can print pivot tables. No, seriously.
No, I haven't gone that far because I really don't know a whole lot about pivot tables.
Man, once I show you a power query, you're going to just drool and never go back to the way that you've been doing things. Now,
I know y'all are following us. Like, we are jumping all over the place today, and that's quite all right. That's how we roll around here.
Even a little bit of sugar, caffeine.
yeah, I did both.
Yeah, you did too. I woke up at 7 a.m. after 3 hours or 4 hours of sleep and drank a Celsius because
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'm waiting for the crash.
Ooh. Okay, so back to
Who do you ask advice from?
Yes.
And is it different for your artwork, for your business, for financial, for personal? I mean, like,
oh god, yeah.
or
Don't ask a poor person what their financial advice is.
well, that's kind of a no-brainer.
No, you'd
Yeah.
be
You
surprised.
don't really.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. People love to give you advice on everything, and I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Well, I think people, maybe because I have a resting phase,
You have a risk.
people kind of like go, oh, she doesn't want me to say anything. And I'm in my head, I'm like, I hope they don't say anything. Cause
Maybe I need more of an RBF then, because I get it all. I get everybody's advice. And it's part of my own problem.
right. And so if somebody walks in your office, this is what you do. Like, you're already wasting the faces when they walk in. You're looking at them going, you're already wasting my time.
It's a teenager's version of side-eye. That's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
I need that.
I mean,
Yeah.
Just
Nothing through all.
because most of the time I try and just keep it very neutral, to where nobody can read what I'm thinking. Because most of the time it's not good.
Well, and here's my problem is my face tells you what I'm thinking.
I can't hide my face.
You can't.
Oh, I mean,
We're terrible too. If we're sitting together and something happens, we're like, one look at each other like, holy crap, did you just see that? And she's like, oh yeah, I saw that. We're not even talking to each other. This is all in the face. So we're not just like, yeah, did she say what I said? I saw. And you and I have done that a couple times too, where we're like, okay. You just hear what I just heard. And then when we were at that dog show, if I'm not saying, there were a couple of times me and you both were like,
Yeah. Yeah. But I can do that with you guys. I can't.
Yeah.
yeah, you can do it.
yeah. I just don't care anymore.
You don't care anymore.
No,
I need to get to that point. I really do.
I don't suggest you get to that point the way I did, but yeah, get to that
Oh,
point.
yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
I get that.
Mine's just, I was kind of born with this, but also it was,
Born this way.
I mean, life has just beat me down so much that I'm like, I can, people who I don't care about,
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to come and talk to me about things, I'm just like, well, this needs to be short. And I make it advance.
Yeah.
I just,
I think I have that same problem. Because people don't come and ask me much. Unless they're in my inner circle, they don't ask me anything.
So I didn't even.
No, I'm fine with my inner circle asking me questions. It's the outside circle that I really don't care for.
I've even been told that I'm bubbly.
what?
I'm bubbly. Yeah. So I think that is because I'm bubbly, I think people equate that to being an idiot. And so therefore I don't know what I'm talking about and thinking about.
But you do have a cute little tendency that you giggle.
Oh yeah, I got that. I really hate that too. Yeah.
Like, you'll say something and you're like,
Nah, that's my uncomfortable, like,
I know that, and you know that, but everybody else is like, oh, she's so funny.
oh, she cares. I really do.
Okay, so we're already saying that we don't give advice to other people.
No, I will give advice if asked.
Oh, I'll give it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't necessarily want to hear everything.
Yeah. But
All right, so getting back to art, our artwork.
You called and told me something not long ago. I'm pointing at Rachel, and I just went whoosh. Oh, I gave her all.
I know what it is.
I was like, I'm so sorry. I probably should have just thrown up all over you with those words.
Yeah, I don't even remember what it was, and you were like, oh, girl. You were like,
No,
you don't even know. And then she just proceeded to tell me everything.
I'm like, no, you don't need to go down that path. You need to you need to get out of there because she's gonna take you down with you.
I know. And the more I thought about it, I was like,
But yeah, I kind of vomited all over that conversation.
but I asked. See, okay, so Julie, you and Julie are basically who I go to for art advice, business advice, Photoshop advice, Excel advice, even though I never call you about it.
It's a shame. You're missing out.
I know you're missing out on the spreadsheets, my friend.
Tom has me covered. But so as far as art
She keeps reeling us back.
and our artwork and where it's going and the direction, I mean, who do we ask? I'm just putting this out in general. Who should an artist ask for advice for? Or what do you think about this? Or who do you recommend?
Well, I heard something interesting the other day was that you should ask. So if you're going for business advice and you're in the art business, you should ask other art business individuals, people that are actually in the business of art, not in the business of art as a hobby, but actually running their business as an artist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't go to, Joe Schmo down the street or your best friend from when you were in grade school.
Lady across the hall from
and ask them advice about your business.
Right.
And we as artists often, where do we go to for our artwork advice? Not critique, just advice on, do you like it? Do you think it will sell? We go to other artists. Why are we not going to the buyers, the people that aren't artists? And I was like, that's an interesting perspective. Why would I ask another artist about my artwork when I'm not about the sellability or the
Right.
is that the right word?
Yeah.
Sellability, marketability of the artwork.
Selling your art. Like,
Right.
what does a buyer think of it?
Right. And I'm like,
That's
because we as artists get really down to the nitty gritty and the critiquing and, oh, well, that's off. I think it's a little out of balance or what. But if we go to a buyer, that sometimes being out of balance or being skewed in perspective is actually a betterment for the piece than not. And as artists, we may bring you back to the rules versus the perception.
Kind of did that one time when you were at your other studio at Little Mill. You put a piece up and ask a question about it.
Yeah.
Yes, that was awesome.
And you got a lot of good feedback on, like, whatever question you asked.
Yeah.
You got a ton of feedback. And I was like, so putting that together with,
Yeah, that's a really good thought.
like, that's a great idea. Like, works in progress, put it at the window and go,
What you think?
And I'm in an environment like where there's artists and creative people and potential buyers. So
Right.
all things creatively.
Yes, exactly.
Word problems. But I like that. Yeah, I'm supposed to
put like questions or like,
That was so bright. You need to do that again.
okay.
yeah,
There, I'm giving you unsolicited advice, but yeah.
Well, in my head, I was thinking like, okay, how could I do that in the current setup? So I've already gone to the how-tos because I'm planning on redoing the outside just a little bit for the Huntsville.
well, your easel is on wheels.
Yeah, you're right.
And just, as you're painting, like you leave for the day or when you're not there, just put it by the window
Put it up in the big door.
and just ask a question. Just go, what do you think about the coloring of the fox? Or what, do you like it? Is it sunrise or is it sunset?
Yeah.
Things like that. Get them to start thinking
Well,
more.
And thinking back to this, a lot of the pieces that you've just recently sold in the last 4 months
Yeah.
have come from you doing those windows.
Yeah.
Than the windows.
Yeah.
I never thought about that, but
Yeah.
And they were at your exhibition.
And they were all huge. That's the other thing I was noticing. That's why I'm doing it.
I noticed that too. Just a side note, like
Jim's the same way. He sells the big pieces.
who is a wonderful photographer. He's got a studio at Low Mill too, Studio 120. Shout out to Jim.
Well, Jennifer
he-
there too.
and
She's
Jennifer
selling
too.
big pieces as well.
And we've all been noticing that big pieces are selling. I mean,
Yeah.
what size was that?
I had two 24 by 30s sell to one couple, and then the other one was like 4 feet by 5 feet. And I think that's about right. That one's pretty big. This other one's going to be, I think it's 40 by 30, 30 by 40, something like that. So, yeah, the big ones are selling, which I think if we bring that back to the advice, some of the advice that you can do for yourself is to look at the data, look at spreadsheets of what's actually selling for you and
in that area.
Yeah.
At Low Mill.
Well, in Jim's size that sells is 20. He's gone to 24 by 30s, I think.
Yeah, that's all he orders now.
Yeah.
that's good. That's real good.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about that, about the why. And unless you're doing like a, composite wall or whatever, you're looking for a piece to go, what, over your sofa, over your bed, over a bed, in a hallway, in a living room, over by
Conversational pieces.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Statement pieces.
Yep.
Whereas if you do something smaller, which is great, you're like, oh, this could go in my kitchen here. Or, you really got to think about what you're doing.
Right.
With smaller pieces sometimes.
Yeah.
So
I think you have to think harder about that. Like, where am I going to put this?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's small.
Mhm.
Where when you buy a big piece, you have a place in mind for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So we've got a couple things there. One, for our artwork, we kind of go to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Because we know what styles we're trying to go for. We talk about the stories that we're kind of going for. And then you guys also will say, well, have you thought about doing this? And have you thought about doing that? When you were talking, Julie, about, kind of showing it to the public, the people that are actually going to buy it, I thought about a comedian. So comedians, they try out their
new material.
New material in front of small audiences. They'll go to their hometown and they're keeping track of when the laughs hit, and then they change something up and find out.
And they'll tell you too.
Oh yeah,
this is some new material, guys.
Yeah. And then they're like, okay, well that didn't hit. But
that's an interesting point. Yeah.
So if we do that, like what you were talking about with my little showing it up in the window, if we take our artwork and slowly push it out to the people that we know, like, and trust, who might be interested in it, and from our audience that are on our email list, and solicit advice from them,
Yeah.
we're engaging them and bring them in and letting them invest in the piece. So I think, yeah, we do that with Instagram a lot.
Yes.
I was gonna say, right. That was my next thought. Is we're gonna have to get over, like, being afraid to put our artwork out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just put it out there.
Yeah.
Imperfection is perfection.
Yep.
Because I follow a couple of other artists that, I mean, they're not like caliber artists that I normally follow, but I'm following them, one, because they're putting out cute stuff or different things.
Right.
And is it, like, wonderful? I mean,
It really is. Is that not Jackson Pollock really wonderful? Gotta ask.
Right.
No. Is it really?
well, there's a couple, yeah.
There's a couple that are
Yeah.
yeah, we'll get to it, but there are some that are not. That's the same thing with everybody else.
Exactly. Not everything's gonna hit and be a 10 out of 10.
Right.
Yeah.
But, like, they're putting out 6s, 7s, and 8s. I mean, like, every day. And they're like,
Right.
and I'm kind of like, well, to me, in my head, so I'm getting rid of that imposter syndrome. I'm like, my stuff's better than that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
True. And
No,
why am I not doing that?
I know.
Right.
You are your own worst enemy.
Yep.
Literally, you are not me.
No, just a general
artist.
Well, you too.
Yeah. Well, and artists too. Yeah.
Yeah. In general, we're all like that. But yeah, I've been really bad for years, and I want to say in the last 2 years, I'm like, whatever.
Screw it.
Yeah, you have come totally full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to put it out there. If you're not putting it out there, you're not going to get any feedback. And if you don't get any,
Right.
and who cares if it's negative? If you like it, who cares if they don't like it?
Yeah.
Does it really matter?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's what in the last episode we were talking about, and I asked my husband, what do you think about this? And he's like, it needs more detail. And I was like, no, it doesn't. Because I knew what I wanted.
Right.
And so that's just comes with age. And
Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say real quick, we had lunch. Like, they're really good about putting out, like, really cute plates of the day or whatever. And one day she put out her hamburgers, which got me hungry for the hamburger today.
Yeah.
But it was like last week. And somebody who didn't even live around here, put a picture up of, oh, that's not a hamburger. This is a hamburger.
Oh my gosh.
And the lady that did that got eviscerated. And not eyeing from people who like them, but are like, what are you talking about? Like, you don't even like, I mean, like, so that could, so part of me is just like, you know what? Put it out there. And someone, if you have one negative
Right.
comment, look at all the other people who are going to come to your defense.
Yep.
yeah.
And I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you will have 100 people loving you to the 0.5% of persons who would have one negative thing to say about you.
Right. Very true.
Am I right?
We need to have another episode about that, just because there's another, there's a young lady that in my oil painting class that some of the advice that I've given her is to develop alligator skin. It's got to be bulletproof.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get 1,000 loves, likes, fantastics, and you're going to focus on that one bullet.
Right.
It's not all the love bullets.
No.
The one that hit the hardest.
But is that not human nature? Or like an anxiety-ridden human nature?
Yeah.
You know, you're like, you go to bed and you're like, well, maybe that yellow was kind of bright, and you're like,
Freaking yellow. And
yeah, what's going to be? You're like, okay,
Yeah.
come on, people. Like, let's get the whole picture.
Right.
And
Say that again. I think that was really good.
yeah, say that one.
the
Alligator skin thing.
oh,
I wrote that down.
Okay. Well, thank God for transcription. So like, so I think it was something like, you just got to develop alligator skin because you can get 1,000 bullets of love, but it's the one negative bullet that'll hit and pierce the skin. And you just really, really need to get that alligator-proof skin. It's got to be tough.
Yeah.
No, that's I think that's a great piece of advice.
I do too.
So,
Okay, well, you got some advice from us today.
yeah, we were all under the place.
Sorry. I think this was a caffeine high episode, but we hope you guys enjoyed it. And until next time.
Thanks for listening to Artists Soar.
A podcast for artists by artists. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us at hello@artistssoar.com.
And be sure to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts so that you can get more of us and we can bring in some sponsors to help you and help us.